Hey guys, what's up? So, in this lesson, I'll tell you everything about the types of questions which can possibly be asked in a reading comprehension type of question in any exam. So, this will cover all the type of questions which you can possibly encounter. And once you know all the type of questions which you can possibly encounter, you will be better prepared to deal with them. First, obviously, the most easiest one are the specific detail. For example, they can ask you author belong to which city, or which era are we talking about, or who is the Prime Minister of India. If the information is given in the passage, it can talk about whether the passage is like very data specific. Like, let's say if the passage is saying that more than half of the people defecate in open, so that can just ask 40% of the people defecate in open, 30%, 60%, or 20%. So it has to be more than half. So it is the best idea is 60%. So there are specific details, and in this case what you have to do is you have to read the passage really carefully, and you will realize that you have to go back once the question is asked, and you can easily see that idea or fact or data, and then it is pretty straightforward to answer such questions. These are the easiest type of questions because you can always go back to the RC and read them. Second is inferences. Inferences means conclusion. Conclusion means implied. What does the author imply? What does the author want to say? Okay, then they can give you 2-3 confusing statements. In that case, whatever is the closest you think that author is trying to imply, mark that. What does the passage or author suggest? What does the passage imply? For example, is the passage implying that let's say it's talk about the population explosion, so it says that passage implying to control the population people should stop marrying. So that cannot be one of the implication of the passage, no matter how stupid it is. So you can eliminate such stuff. Passage is trying to imply that we can limit the number of children by using contraceptive methods. Maybe that is the correct answer. Government should forcefully impose these contraceptive methods. Maybe that is not what passage is trying to imply. Maybe that is what it is saying, that failed in the past miserably, so it should not be tried again. So you have to see what the author is trying to say, what are the specific words he is trying to focus on. If it is italic or bold somewhere, if he is using it should never be done again, only it was a disaster of epic proportion. So he is trying to associate negative words with a certain thing, and he will always associate positive words, that this has worked somewhere else also, and so on and so forth. So what does the author imply? What does the passage or author suggest? What does the passage imply? All means the same thing, that what is it that they are trying to imply. So author mostly suggests these ideas without explicitly stating them. So he will never say, or she will never say, that this is what I am trying to imply. No. In a good reading comprehension type of passage, you will never see author directly like jumping onto the conclusion that this is what I imply, so this has to be done like this. So that is pretty wrong. And why this is given? So that they know that you are able to read between the lines, and it will measure the aspirant's skill to understand the intended meaning. So here, like, can you read between the lines, or you are not that suave that you can see the subtleties? You are not that master full, you don't have those skills to read between the lines, because most of the time human beings don't state explicitly, but you can read between the lines. Then the third type is contextual meaning of words and phrases. For example, the word state can have different meaning. If it is a science paragraph, so then state can mean solid, liquid, and gaseous state of the matter. If it is polity and it talk about state reorganization committee, then it is talking about the states, as in Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, which are the constituent unit of the nation. If it is a philosophical essay, then its state might be the representative head or the figure. For example, India can be a state, the entire European Union can be a state in that context. So it can ask you the contextual meaning of the words and phrases. What is the word meaning in that particular scenario? For example, CELL, cell, can means the biological unit of life. It can also means cell of the battery. It can mean cell phone. Okay, so it depends on the context. So they ask contextual meaning a lot. Then they will ask you what is the main idea or the central theme or the essential message or thoughts of the author. So main idea can be that feminism in India has not pervaded to the desired extent, or the Election Commission of India is a powerful institution, or that we ought to be moral even if the awards are not apparent. So usually the main idea will be the author will implicitly say it in the second last or the last paragraph, so you have to read it carefully. I'll solve examples, don't worry. So basically passage is always the main idea plus the supporting details. So if you want to figure out the main idea, try to see what the author is supporting and what the author is not supporting. And sometimes main idea might be explicitly mentioned in the passage, and sometimes you might have to evaluate the main idea. Then they might ask you attitude of the author. The introspective, it means like he's looking or she is looking inside, and whether we are doing good or not, are we as a nation progressing in the right direction or not. Critical means that they are criticizing a particular policy, for example demonetization. Suggestion means that they are trying to give you a suggestion that in order to lose weight you should do these things, and so on and so forth. Assumptions and arguments which author is taking to support his ideas. So this is again very important, because many passages will assume that these are the things which are happening in real life without explicitly mentioning them. And then there are vocabulary based questions. 40 to 50% of the reading comprehension comes from there, like synonyms, antonyms, meanings of phrases. So thank you for watching this lesson. Have an awesome day.